Hey there YouTube, this is CFL Fanatic giving you my picks for week 17 in the CFL, 2010 CFL season. So we're nearing playoffs. It feels like the season just began, but now it's the regular season, it's nearing its close. 3 weeks to go. The playoff race is very intense this year. It's usually always a good race, but this year it's especially good. We may have the first Eastern team crossing over to the West final playoff spot for the first time in CFL history. So kind of interesting there. Last week, good thing I switched over to the Stamps. I had originally picked the Riders going along with Schulte, but then I disagreed with him, went with the Stamps. That saved me what could have been a worse week. So that took me last week to 2-2. Schulte also, it says 3-1. He's supposed to be 2-2, so disregard that. Anyways, that takes me to 34-26. Schulte 29-31. So I once again have a 5-game lead on him, heading down the stretch. That's good. Okay, we'll get to the picks in just a minute. Just a quick note on the Riders, and they're feeling the pinch from injuries. Ken Miller, obviously very concerned about his players. Luka Kanji, their kicker, and Rob Bagg, receiver, or I'm not sure if he's a slot back, but whatever. Anyways, obviously two good players for them, and obviously causing concern. They're definitely both going to be out for the remainder of the season, and they have to undergo surgery and a rehab program, which could put them out of the picture to start next season as well. So some bad news for the Riders there. Okay. No more news. On to Week 17 in the CFL. First up, first edition of Friday Night Football. Montreal Alouettes taking on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. So the Ticats offense, really, when you boil it down, not all that productive last week. Because when you end up starting on your 10-yard line, practically like 7 times off of turnovers, you're going to get at least a field goal, if not a touchdown. So Hamilton's offense definitely needs some work. Having said that, their defense looks fantastic, and a good defense is definitely something you need against the Alouettes. On the Alouettes side of the football, they didn't look that great at home against Winnipeg. Unfortunately, Winnipeg found a way, and who, of course, saved the day for the Alouettes with a fumble recovery, but Chip Cox, of course, the guy I hate so much. Anyways, so Schulte's picking Hamilton, and you know what? Hamilton needs this game. Montreal doesn't really. But I just can't go against the Montreal Alouettes right now. So I have to take them over Hamilton. Okay, BC and Calgary. I was so sure BC was going to pull off that overtime win for me, but unfortunately they got all the way to overtime, and then the defense caved in and let Edmonton score a touchdown. Now, having said that, some bad penalties in last week's game. Roughing the passer call when Lule slid. It was Ricky Ray slid. And I think it was Corey Banks hit him. And it was just like a touch. That's all he could do. He couldn't stop himself, and they still flagged him anyway. A bad call. Having said that, the offense seemed to kick into gear in the later half of the game. That was good. Usually BC, unfortunately, tends to self-destruct in the fourth quarter, so it was good to see them rally and get some points on the board and tie up the football game. Calgary looked very solid, though, last week against Saskatchewan. A bit of struggles in the first half, but the second half was great, so you know what? I think I have to take Calgary in this one at home. Okay, next up, Saturday, Toronto and Winnipeg. Winnipeg really needs this win. It's vital for them to get this win because they need to keep their crossover hopes alive. And in order to do that, they need to win at least 2 games, assuming that BC and Edmonton drop all of their remaining games. So Winnipeg pretty much needs to sweep. They need 3 wins. So the Argos are an easy start for them, a team that is just so pathetic. It's unbelievable. 7 turnovers is never going to win you a game. An offense that looks completely one-dimensional and just brutal. Poor Argos. So yeah, they don't look that good. Winnipeg, again, a close loss to Montreal, and Winnipeg's defense is going to hold the Argos in check. Argos' defense is going to try and hold Winnipeg in check, but I don't think their offense is going to bail them out too much. So I'm going to have to say Winnipeg in this one. Okay, Saskatchewan. Oh, I spelt Rough Riders wrong, but whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, so the Rough Riders take on the Eskimos. Eskimos with as I said, a big overtime win last week. So that was obviously good for them. But they're playing the Riders, and even though the Eskimos are at home, I have to say that I think the Riders definitely need a win against the Eskimos. They came off an unfortunate loss to the Stampeders. They had a chance to get back in the game, but Durant threw a pick at the end. So I think they're definitely going to be looking to get back in the books. Saskatchewan has a pretty easy schedule to finish the season at this rate. They got Edmonton, then they got BC, then Edmonton again. So Edmonton and BC definitely are going to be putting up more fight, so it could make the games a little bit more interesting, but right now I think I have to play it safe and pick the Riders for this one. So those are my picks in case you missed them. Montreal, Calgary, Winnipeg, Saskatchewan. I think that's it. The playoff race heats up. I'll be watching all the games, so I'll see you next week.